Welcome back to the Daily Stock Report. Today is January 5th. It's a Monday, and silver, gold, and platinum are all on the rise. Let's check it out, guys. So as we go over to our charts right here, silver is currently sitting at 75.84 with a high today of 77.82. Gold had a high today of 44.71 on the days, currently sitting at $4,440 on the dot as we record this. Platinum's high today was 23.19 and currently sitting at 22.39. Now, over the weekend, we did have a couple factors go on. Um, the markets are kind of reacting to a major geopolitical shift that we had this weekend, the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by U.S. forces, an event that increases geopolitical uncertainty, tends to immediately drive capital towards these safe haven assets, and precious metals are often one of the first beneficiaries. Now, if we come over here, we're going to look at natural gas. We're going to see that natural gas gapped down today and has been down pretty much all day into last night, today, and even in aftermarket trading. Crude oil saw initial drawdown. It's back up a little bit. Now, something to look out for. I know these aren't precious metals, but one of the reasons that these kind of drop a little bit is that Venezuela, if you don't know, does have a lot of oil and natural gas resources. They have over 300 billion barrels on their reserves, going to be the world's largest reserve that's just out there. And so with that being said, there's going to be a big influx of oil and natural gas into America. So it's going to drive prices down a little bit because that demand isn't going to be as high because we are feeling that. But tensions are rising with Venezuela. Anytime we invade another country, it is going to create a little bit of uncertainty. We don't really know exactly how it's going to play out in the future, but for right now, the Venezuelans seem a little happy about it. From what I've seen online, that their president is gone, and people are, as you can see today, kind of going in to the precious metals as more of that safe haven. Again, we don't know what's going to happen with the situation. We don't know if it's going to cause any further tensions with other countries. Just looking in the news, Trump's already talked about going into Colombia as well, but we're not too sure about that, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. This is more of a precious metals market update, so I don't want to get too much into that, but you can check out my other video. I did make another one that goes a little bit more into depth as to what happened with the Venezuelan and whenever we went in there and took their president. But now he's in America, and we have control over the oil and their gold reserves. They did have one of the highest gold reserves in the world as well, which again, that's not going to influx the market too much because again, gold is out there, and we can account for pretty much all the gold that is out there as to something like silver that's being used industrially every day. And so, whenever they do make these solar panels, electric car batteries, and anything with silver, it is going to destroy that silver, or it's not going to destroy it, but again, it creates a kind of a problem with getting it out, right? Once it's in, it takes more energy and it costs more to extract it than it would be just to find more. And so a mine takes about 5 to 10 years to really get off the ground and going. And so there is that whole debacle with silver. So that's going to be a little bit different. It doesn't have too much to do with the invasion of Venezuela, but it does have, of course, something when it comes to investors wanting to have a safe haven asset to kind of sit behind and just hold on to while tensions are high. And we saw that today. Silver gapped up overnight from the weekend to today. Went from 72.26 and our low today was 72.52, so about a 30 cent 25-30 cent gap up overnight, which again, guys, anytime it gaps down, we're going to feel that gap going up. Anytime it gaps up, we're going to feel that gap going down. And so while we are sitting pretty right now at 75 with a high of 77, I do expect us to kind of come back down and test that $72 mark, which again would be very clutch because if you go back to our videos last week, we talked about uh, bouncing off this bottom right here. Let's go back to our 5-day chart, zoom out a little bit, pull back right here. Let's pull back right here to our 1 month. We look at this $70 mark. We tested it one, two, three, four, five, 6 times, and we continued to bounce off of that $70 mark. And like I said, you test it so many times and you don't keep going down from there. It goes down to that 70 and then it bounces back up. We're going to continue to go higher. You can go back to these other videos. It's everything that I've been saying right there. But with that being said, we did have a gap up in the market today. And so anytime there is something like that, we're going to come back down and test that. But it's a benefit. It's good because we've gone from testing 70 to it looks like we're going to start testing 72 now. Right. So we have that $2 increase on our tests and resistance levels. So zooming back out right here, 72. Again, we had this is where we originally topped out at 72, 78. We don't have really too much resistance. We have a 72, $73. And so if we can come back and fill this gap over the next couple days, I do predict us to go back out because again, we are kind of forming that bullish pendant right here. And then we're going to draw that line about right there. So I would say about the ninth, yeah, about the ninth or the 11th, we'll probably finish filling up that gap, and then we'll start looking like we'll make a healthy leg up instead of just a straight shot up. Which again, guys, is everything that we want. We want a healthy market. We don't want to go up too fast. We want to see a stability in the silver market with a solid increase. We'll go over here to gold. Same picture. Let's pull back to the 5-minute chart. This morning or last night we gapped up from 73 or 43 70 43 42, and the low on the day, or where we gapped up because we never went lower than that. No, we didn't. The low was 43.54. We're sitting at 44.48. So that's going to be a little bit more dramatic. That's going to be about $100 that we need to pull back and really test. Now, gold typically does rise more in times like this. When it comes to any type of geopolitical conflict, gold typically rises first, silver to follow, and platinum is going to be works a little bit differently because platinum really is more of an industrial metal. Any catalytic converters, diesel engines, things along that nature. Um, but it does look like we've already hit that gap from today, so platinum went from 2161 to at last close, gapped up to 2170. But if we're looking at this chart right here, we've already tested it once right here, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times fell below, 6 times bounced up, 7 times we went down right here, and then we came up on that eighth test right there, and it's been flowing up ever since. And so platinum doesn't necessarily need to come back down as much. It does tend to move a little bit differently. We'll pull out to the 1 month chart right here. And so it is nice to see that we stopped kind of like that downtrend. So we had that big rally right here, Christmas rally, right around that time. Came down, leg down right here, and then we kind of came up a little bit, tested these resistance levels, and we continued to go down there. Made that nice little semi-W formation right there, as you can see, and then we continued to climb up. And then we even filled that gap this morning already. So platinum could be on a different type of scale, different type of flow. It is moving a little bit differently, which is good. It's good. We like to see these metals consistently go up, especially if platinum does. We can expect silver and gold to do the same. Copper, same thing. They gapped up, but they already filled their gap this morning as well. And copper actually hit a new high in a long time. We're going to pull out to 5-year chart on copper. And so copper right here went from 5.59, $5.96 all the way down, and it's climbed its way back up with a high of $6 right there. So that's very beneficial for that. Um, and so a couple little updates real quick is starting with gold. Gold surged today as investors sought safety following the weekend news. This move builds on gold's already strong momentum coming out of 2025, which was one of its best years in decades. Despite recent profit taking at year end, today's action shows that gold's role as a global hedge remains intact. Central bank demand, geopolitical risk, and long term uncertainty continue to support the metal going into 2026. Moving on to silver. Silver moved higher alongside gold, showing a classic safe haven response combined with its own unique volatility. After extreme price swings late in the year, silver is once again reacting to macro events. While silver can be more volatile than gold, it often amplifies moves during periods of heightened uncertainty. In addition to geopolitical factors, ongoing supply concerns, and strong industrial demand continue to influence silver's long term outlook. Like I was saying earlier, platinum was a little bit different. Platinum remains firm as well. The metal is carrying out momentum from a very, very strong 2025, supported by industrial demand and auto policy driven changes in the auto sector. While platinum doesn't always move in lockstep with gold and silver, periods of broader precious metal strength tend to keep it well supported. So, what can we take away from today? For stackers, today's takeaway is straightforward. Geopolitical events can reprice markets very quickly. Gold and silver continue to act as protection during uncertainty, while volatility creates both risk and opportunity. The key is consistency, premium awareness, and staying focused on long term fundamentals rather than short term headlines. So, before we head out today, one thing I always do like to check on is spot price versus the futures price and what's available, what's happening in the physical, because this is all paper right here. Everything that you see on my screen, the gold price, silver price, platinum price, these are all paper prices. And so this is a futures contract that you have to purchase, and you don't actually own the physical metal yourself. You're just trading the paper. So right here we have the initial margin for silver, that's at $76, is 32,500. Gold's initial margin is 26,400, while platinum sits at 11,000 to open up a futures contract. And so we compare that to I have two today. These are the two that I mainly look at, SD Bullion and JM Bullion. Let's do a little refresher, get the most up to date. Right now, the ask for silver is 76.95, while the futures are trading at 76.41. So that's a 45 or 55 cent increase, which means that there is a higher demand for physical silver. And so that means that people are buying. And as we can still see on both JM and SD, we have higher historic silver price action will cause processing and shipping delays. We appreciate your patience. JM says high demand will cause slight processing and shipping delays. We appreciate your patience. And so both websites are already advertising that there will be a delay in your shipping, a delay in your processing, a delay in getting your silver, which is why I definitely recommend finding a local LCS. LCS is local coin shop. Finding a local coin shop, building a good relationship with them, and that way you can get the best price on your silver and gold while also getting it the day that you purchase it versus having to sit and wait for it. Because as we come over here to silver, we'll just go to 1 ounce silver rounds. We can see that, let's see, a 2023 2 ounce, a 1 ounce silver round, all of these right here, like a 1 ounce silver buffalo. Look at all these that are on pre-sale right here. Pre-sale, 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 pre-sale. January 9th, 16th, 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 16th again, 16th. All of these are January 16th. Same down here. And so what that means is that a lot of these coins, a lot of these rounds that are getting built or getting shipped, there's a delay on there. So they don't even have them in stock right now, which is kind of crazy to think about that an online dealer such as JM or SD have a delay on their silver. And we'll go right here to the Silver Eagles. Right here, product availability is January 13th, January 12th. If you want a monster box, January 12th as well. So a lot of these are still on back order as well. We'll go to silver bars, 1 ounce silver bars. Okay, so these are available. No, January 23rd. So the SD Bullion Proclaim Liberty silver bars on back order till January 23rd. We'll go to the 1 ounce rounds. Even just your standard Buffalo is January 23rd. The Silver Freedom, January 24th. January 27th. The Johnson, that one's available. The Rifleman still on January 27th. Scottsdale Mint Cowboys, January 27th. If you want your Christmas one, they got those ones. They got those ones for you, the old Christmas ones. The Silver Dragons one, that one's 84, so that's about $8 over spot right there that you'd be paying. And so those are all over. Let's go to gold. Gold price per ounce 44.6, per gram is 142. We go to Golden Eagles, 1 ounce Golden Eagles, 1 ounce Golden Eagle January 12th. All these are going to be January 12th as well. MS70, you can get one of those pretty quickly. Check out their 90% junk. 90% junk. These are all pretty widely available. The $10 face, 90% US silver, half Canadian dollars. Those are January 16th. A lot of the junk silver, I've been preaching this here lately, but a lot of the junk silver is readily available. Dealers right now are stuck with a lot of junk silver. And so what does that mean? It means that they can send them to refineries, but they're so backed up, they're having to send them for a bigger discount than what they can send something like a Silver Eagle. Silver Eagle or your generic silver rounds is going to be 0.999% silver, whereas your constitutional is going to be 0.9 silver, and so it's going to be about 0.7734 troy ounces per coin, whereas these are going to be 1 full ounce. And so refineries have to obviously melt those down a little bit differently. Same thing with sterling silver. Sterling silver is 0.925. And so they have to melt them down, separate the metals, and then refine it into a pure silver. It takes a little bit more labor, takes more time. And right now, since they're so backed up, they really just want your 999 fine silver ounces or rounds, coins, bars. That's really what they're searching for. So don't be afraid to go into your local coin shop. If you're wanting to stack just for the pure weight of silver and not necessarily this type of silver, whereas like if you're just wanting a bar, a round, or a silver eagle, that's a little bit different versus if you're just wanting to stack for your weight content, you can go to your local coin shops right now and probably get a better deal. Get those type of coins, those Morgan dollars, peace dollars, those quarters before 1964, those pre 1964 dimes as well. You can probably get those at melt or maybe a little bit below, just depending on the type of stock they have. Whereas if you go right now and get a round, a silver eagle, something of the sort, you're going to be paying spot plus a premium. And so it is just a little bit cheaper of a way to gain silver at the moment. I'm not going to say it's going to last forever, but that's kind of what we have for today. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for next time. I'll continue tracking gold, silver, and platinum prices. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to comment and subscribe. Where do you think silver and gold is going to go over the next couple months, over the next week? Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Stack Report. Thank you. Have a good one.